If you bought crypto near the top and you've been watching your portfolio bleed for months, I want you to hear this very clearly before we start and look at a single chart. You didn't lose because you're stupid, and you didn't lose because crypto is broken. If what you're feeling right now is financial pain, it's purely psychological, and the feeling of what you're going through right now is perfectly normal. I myself have lost everything, not once, but twice. And I've had to rebuild it again starting over in 2023. I'm personally underwater right now with my XRP. My average buy is $1.76. But this channel is about the long view. What price is going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So we cover the news, we cover the price, we cover the structure of our core infrastructure pieces. We're about more than one asset on this channel. We're about gold, silver, copper, XRP, Canton Network, Ondo, Chainlink, and HBAR. At least that's what I'm about. So if you're in it for the long view, welcome to the stream. We're going to hop into what's going on right now because there is a ton of pain in the markets, and I don't think it's over. And we're going to cover all of it. So without further ado, we'll hop into the chart, and I appreciate everyone in the chat as always. We don't need to see that. Hop in the chart. Bitcoin is down to 72,000, and currently volume for ETFs is still pushing forward. We have had, this is XRP volume anyway. It hasn't even loaded what's going on with inflows and outflows as of yet. But as the last we checked, there's 768 million locked, down from a few weeks ago. Bitcoin is falling. I called out 68,000 and then 55,000. I think it could get as low as 55,000, and the rest of the crypto market will go with it. But really, this is a global liquidity issue, not even necessarily a global liquidity issue. Tech stocks rolled over recently, and they're struggling, especially in some of the AI sectors. So what happens? Risk on assets go first. Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market follows. We can see everything in the crypto market right now. Canton's up a little bit, Hype's up a little bit with the news. We have some news about Hyperliquid and XRP, or Ripple for that matter. So we will cover that as well. But Canton's up, Hyperliquid's up, Ondo, HBAR's up a little bit. But for the most part, the entire crypto market is bleeding. And this is, honestly, I think there's going to be more to come. But more importantly is utility. Fundamentally, nothing has changed for any of these cryptocurrencies. The narrative hasn't changed. The fundamentals haven't changed. And when we're looking at crypto as a whole and investing over the long view, it hurts to watch your portfolio consistently bleed. But with crypto cycles, I mean, we've seen this before. If you've been around the space for any amount of time, this is unfortunately a normal part of the process. And typically this is the best time to buy, not financial advice. None of this information is ever financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You need to do your own research. But again, for our cryptos, or at least my cryptos here on the channel, I'm about Canton Network, XRP, Ondo, Chainlink, and HBAR. And I might actually be picking up a little bit of Hyperliquid here in the near future. We'll talk about that in just a second. But we always follow actual XRP activity, XRP ledger activity, things that are really happening. And truthfully, we've been following this for a long time on the channel if you've been with me. Account set activity, again, still maintained in spike, and we're seeing consistent now payment activity over 1.5 million. It's ramped up and stayed here consistently. I want to see it increase beyond 2 million and stay there. But this is, we've seen Ripple Prime come online, right? We've seen G Treasury come online. We've seen all the licensing that's been built out over the last few months. We've seen the account set activity spiked over those same last few months. And now we're starting to see increased payment activity. What do you guys think? Is utility actually turning on for XRP? Are we finally going to see some price appreciation? I thought it would be when we got over 2 million transactions and we're able to maintain it. To me, that's proof that adoption and utility is growing on Ledger. But again, we're here for the long view. So more news. We always love news. Crypto news is always a fantastic thing. So Chainlink, Link, and Microlink futures go live on CME Group. MetaMask now launches over 200 tokenized stocks via Ondo. This was announced yesterday at the Ondo Summit. If you guys watched the summit with me, I appreciate you. That was a long day yesterday for a couple sound bites, really, truthfully. And we'll cover the sound bites that were in the summit. I'm already starting to see some narratives pop up that are completely false, which I think is hilarious. And I actually called them out in the summit. Unfortunately, I saw one of them in the chat already. We'll talk about it. So, Ondo tokenized stocks on MetaMask, Ripple, Hyperliquid, meet Ripple Prime. We're now enabling institutions to access on-chain derivatives liquidity through Hyperliquid X, a streamlined, secure way for customers can efficiently cross-margin crypto with all asset classes supported by Ripple Prime. Again, from the Ondo Summit, one of the common buzzwords was interoperability. Interoperability is going to be key, and everyone who's involved in payments now wants to be involved with Ripple and the XRP ledger. So honestly, on this news, I might pick up a little bit of Hyperliquid just because of the case. It's going to increase the amount of a customer base, essentially, for Hyperliquid. It's increasing its use case because it is a payments option. Coin market cap says Ripple-backed diamond tokenization project has moved over 280 million in certified polished diamonds on chain in the UAE using XRP Ledger. So again, we've already had talks of tokenized gold, tokenized silver, and now tokenized diamonds are on the XRP Ledger. Now, for those of you who were watching the Ondo Summit, big thing. Oh, this was something else. This was about the e-files. I don't want to talk about that anymore. We already covered that. This is about the stock market today. So this is about the liquidity issues we're dealing with as a whole for the stock market. When we're seeing crypto take a dump like we are right now, it's important to understand what's going on globally and macroeconomically. Again, so we understand the fundamentals of what's actually going on with the crypto. Sorry, just got an eyelash in my eye or something. Let's see here. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and other major stock indices remain mixed in late morning trade. Investors reacted to a flurry of earnings reports and weaker than expected jobs data. An early earnings loser on the stock market today was Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, while Super Microcomputer soared. AMD got smashed this morning. In late morning trade Wednesday, Dow Jones rose 0.7% and more than 350 points. S&P traded lower. The tech-heavy NASDAQ company sank 0.8% amid a broad sell-off of tech stocks. So a lot of the tech stocks are selling off. And again, risk rotation into crypto. That's just how it works. So we're going to, again, we'll cover everything. If you're coming in late, we will cover everything in a recap. So the way the streams work, by the way, if you're coming in late, I appreciate you taking the time to be here. But the way the streams work is I'll go through the stream, then I hop into the live chat. We talk to everyone. I talk to every single person every single day. We have an XRP hangout every single day. Then we'll do a recap, cover everything for everyone who came in late, and then we'll hop back into the chat and just keep going, keep going, keep going. The more things you guys give me to talk about, the more we can keep streaming today. So, stock market is hurting right now, rotation into risk assets. So quick recap for those of you who didn't want to watch the whole Ondo Summit. There's only a few buzzwords that came out of it. So the big thing I want to talk about is their filing for the SEC, right? The registration statement with the SEC. This was the biggest announcement from the Ondo Summit. We already talked about MetaMask and we already talked about Wall Street 2.0 at length, okay? So when it comes to Ondo Summit, once effective, Ondo's current confidential filing would provide all investors in Ondo Global Markets tokenized products around the world with the detailed information about the issuer mandated SEC requirements. These are generally considered to be the gold standard for securities disclosure globally. So, what does that mean, right? By voluntarily undertaking to meet those SEC requirements, Ondo and the issuer are ensuring that all investors in the global markets products have equal access to the highest quality information available and are supporting the free exchange of Ondo Global Markets products on chain to the maximum extent of permitted law. Once effective, the filing would make Ondo Global Markets the first issuer of transferable tokenized stocks to be subject to the SEC's reporting requirements. Ondo is the only platform building the regulatory and product infrastructure to support all major models of securities tokenization in the United States, including direct ownership, beneficial ownership, and digitally native tokenized securities. Already the largest tokenized equities platform globally, Ondo Global Markets has surpassed 500 million in total value locked, enabling over 9 billion in cumulative trading volume and reach tens of thousands of asset holders outside of the US. This is a major development. Ondo is leading tokenization. It's plain and simple. Now, the question that everyone asks, well, what's Ondo's utility on the Ondo blockchain? I know people make money from yield, right? From their stablecoin yield and things like that. It's a lot like every other cryptocurrency that is not a payments element, right? It will improve and increase as the blockchain builds out. It certainly seems like Ondo is Wall Street's baby for tokenization, at least at this point when it comes to tokenizing securities, stocks, ETFs, and things like that. DTCC is already working with the Canton Network. Again, we follow the money on this channel. It's about building out infrastructure over the next 10 years, right? What is being backed? What is being built? What is actually being adopted? What rails and plumbing are being laid behind the scenes so we can position ourselves for the long view? Because I know there's a significant amount of pain right now. And I know a lot of people have heard all the hype news in regards to any crypto you want to possibly talk about. If you've been watching content on YouTube for the last year, you've heard it all. I don't need to tell you. I don't need to try and sell you some bogus narrative, right? You've been up, you've been down, you've been promised things, you've been lied to, you've been manipulated, just like the stock market. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to try and give you guys something else that you can plan on moving forward. I'm trying to create a community you can build with for the long view. My plan is 10% of my paycheck every month for 10 years of my life. If you take the dedication and discipline to achieve that, regardless. Now, again, you have to do your research on your investments, find something you're passionate about that you believe in. I have my pillar system. Some people like my pillar system. Some people have their own. But the important thing is that you do your due diligence, do your research, find something you're passionate about that you can continuously invest in over the next 10 years. Have a plan, right? Fail to plan to fail. Let's hop into the chat. I saw it was really active this morning and I appreciate that. Let me make sure my stuff is working here. And it is. Sir Charles was first in the house today. Shout out to the Longview crew, he says, because you guys were here early waiting for me. I appreciate it. Quelly is in the house early today. Hello, Quelly. Welcome to the stream. Quelly says, I'm considering uninstalling all investment apps and just mentally disconnecting from all this. I'm stressed out and depressed. Honestly, how's everyone else feeling? Unfortunately, this is a normal reaction, especially when you get your first big loss in any investment. You feel like you made a mistake. You feel like you made the wrong decision. You feel like you were duped. Whatever the feelings are, they're certainly not positive. And no, you shouldn't be depressed. That's why we talk about building up your foundation. So you're investing from a place of strength, so you're not worried about the constant up and downs. And honestly, if you have your set things that you are comfortable in, you don't have to watch it every single day. I'll miss you. I love having my viewers, but once you have your set plan, no, you don't need to watch it every day. You don't need to deal with that stress and depression. If it's stressing you out and depressing you, then we need to find a better way. We need to find a better way for you, because that's not what it should be doing. Hello, world and friends, says Crypto Roger. I hear that. Stress and depression ain't good. I needed to sell some BTC recently, and the timing of it just sucks, knowing what prices were a few months ago. It does suck when stuff like that happens. It really does when we have those kind of pullbacks. But again, we have to do what's best for us and our situation, and everyone's situation is different. So I'm not going to try and pitch you there's one way to invest in crypto or in any investment. I'm here to tell you my way and show you the research I do and my opinions and how I come to those conclusions. But ultimately, that's for you to do as well. And hopefully I can help you along the way, and doing that is the goal. Crypto Roger says, hello. And I'm sure he's talking about the divorce. Oh, the I lost everything. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the divorce in the sense that I can relate to it. I had the divorces one time I lost everything, but that was in 2023 or 2022, 2023. It eclipsed that gap. And yeah, I had to sell and I ended up $20,000 in debt. And then in 2021, I was sitting with a portfolio of over $200,000 and watched it sink during that collapse because I didn't sell it. I sold some of it. I took some profits. So don't get me wrong. I took profits on Solana back then, which I don't hold Solana now. But I have lost everything twice, and it sucks to watch it sink. It's just not a good feeling. But unfortunately, that means it's getting close to be the perfect buying opportunity, right? If we do believe in our assets, when there's blood in the streets, we buy the deep, not financial advice. Now, I guess we have to wait another 2 years or whatever to see big numbers again. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, we do have now, granted, the market sucks right now, but if we rewind, remember, when in doubt, zoom out. If we look back to the last time we had a collapse, one, it went much lower. Number two, if we look back to the last time we had a collapse, we didn't have nearly the amount of tailwinds. We had headwinds. Headwinds caused, like, they amplified that collapse, right? That was back in the, was it Gensler days or whatever his freaking name is? I can't remember. Now we have a ton of tailwinds behind us. We have adoption. We have clarity on the cusp. And don't worry, we're going to talk about that because there was a pump fake there that I want to discuss. But we have clarity on the cusp, right? We have a pro-crypto administration, pro-crypto SEC, pro-crypto Fed chair coming, pro-crypto CFTC, global adoption happening, not just for XRP and our core assets, but for crypto as a whole. So it's a very bright outlook for the long view of the next 5 to 10 years, right? My first outlook is 2030. Now, I do try to keep an idea of what's going to happen throughout the weeks, months, years. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to take 2 years this time. It may not, but that's why we're here for the long view. April 3rd, Clarity Act. This is the pump fake I was discussing. We were watching this actually in the Ondo Summit, and I called it out right after it was said because he said that jokingly. He said that in jest, with a laugh, with a smile, and the other person, the interviewer, acknowledged it. And I even made the statement. I said, be careful, because I want to point this out live because you're going to see later today and tomorrow that the White House said it was going to be done by April 3rd because Patrick Witt said it in this broadcast as a joke. I suggest you go back and watch the clips out there. You don't have to watch the whole summit. But yeah, I mean, yes, it was said, but it was said as a joke, and you could clearly see it in the clip. Maybe the day is wrong, but it's in April. I wish it was true, but I mean, I would love to be wrong, but I don't believe it. Quelly says, no, the guy said, well, my birthday is April 3rd, so maybe it gets done by my birthday. Yeah, it was a joke. Exactly, Quelly. Yeah, I think you were watching it with me, because it certainly was a joke. Good morning to Raul. Let's get this show going. You guys were awfully active before the show is going. And again, engage in the chat. If you guys are coming in here late, we will be doing a quick recap, but we do talk to everyone. This is a community, not just the news, but we do cover the news, and I am covering what's happening with price. And don't worry, we're getting to it. After I get caught up in the stream here, we're going to talk about how low I think Bitcoin will go this run and what that means for XRP and our other pillar system. Any good news today? XRP is cheaper if you want to buy some. That's the good news today. Crypto is cheaper if you want to buy. That's your good news of the day, Raul. You have a sale on crypto right now. Hello, Todd Madison. Welcome to the stream. Raul, someone's still asleep. I was a minute late, Raul. Give me a break. I was actually, the only reason I was late is because I was trying to get this chat bar fixed, so make sure it came up when I started the stream. XRP is good, says Kathy. Welcome to the stream, Kathy. I don't recognize that name, so welcome to the stream. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. And again, if you guys want to help grow the channel, the best thing you could do is watch, hit the like button, and subscribe. The more engagement there is in the chat while we're going, you know, reactions, chats, all those things, the more engagement there is in the chat while it's going, the more it spreads it out to everyone for it to be seen. An engaged chat is a popular chat. Remembering what I hold and why is all I need to know. I don't sell the dips, I buy. Well, there you go. Exactly. Know what you hold. I'm waiting to pick up more. I'm actually waiting. Again, I'll talk to you about the bottoms, but I actually just closed, for those of you who are new here, because I got a lot of new people from the Ondo Summit. It was great. But for those of you who are new here, I just closed on my house last week and I finally got the funds in this week. So I have a large portion of capital that I'm playing with. I actually too, at the 205 level, announced that that I was going to be buying puts on XXRP because I expected a pullback to the $1.75 level. And again, nothing is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you guys what I see and what I do. So I sold those at $1.60 for a very, very nice profit. And I just moved that. I switched that to USDC and moved that to Caleb and Brown to buy more Canton networks. I bought another large chunk of Canton because I don't try to time tops and bottoms with that because it doesn't move with Bitcoin. It doesn't move with anything else. It moves to the beat of its own drum. So I just buy it when I can. And I'm waiting for Bitcoin to get to 55,000 to see where XRP and my other plays are, right? My XRP, my Ondo, Chainlink, and HBAR. Once Bitcoin gets to 55K, because I do think it's going to 55K. Once it gets there, I'm going to see what the market's doing. Could go lower. Could not get that low. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's kind of what I'm waiting for to gauge my next purchase, not financial advice. Kathy says it's going down to zero. Trust me, I have my sources. It's going to zero. Trust me. XRP is good. It's going to zero. I don't know what your sources are for what XRP would be going to zero, but I hope not. I don't think that's the case, but that's me personally. What's happening, Corey Williams? Welcome to the stream. Don't worry, we're going to hop into it. I'll do a recap for everyone who came in late so we can understand what's happening in the markets. 26 people watching. And let's go straight to the bottom. No, we don't want to go straight to the bottom. All right, so we've covered a lot of the chat. I'm going to hop into a recap for those who came in late real quick, and then we will get back to the chat. Keep it going. We're going to keep this thing running. So what's going on with this? Let's get to the right screen. Oh, that's right. I fixed it so I can have these up here now. I forgot about that. Let me pull that down. There we go. Boom. All right. So right now, XRP is at $1.50. Again, EMA 9, crypto in general, Bitcoin does it too. I use EMA 9 for my main source of technical analysis is EMA 9 and RSI indicators. So everything's following Bitcoin. So we're going to take a look at Bitcoin right now and see what exactly is happening. So we are on a downtrend, falling below EMA 9, currently bouncing back and forth out of oversold. So what's happening is we are chopping right now. It pulled back to EMA 9 once, failed, came down, pulled back again, and it's trying to get back up here. I don't think it's going to pass it, but that's what we're looking at. This blue line, it keeps tapping it. So it'll probably get up to about 73,000-ish, maybe 73.1 before it starts pulling back again. Again, I think Bitcoin is going to fall to 55K. I'm waiting for that number to gauge. And again, nothing is ever financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but we need to be clear about what's going on in the markets. You know, I'm not here to lie to you and pump you full of hopium. I'm here to help build a community of like-minded people for the long view. That's the goal. Long view compute. It's in the title. Now, gold pulled back today as well. What else pulled back today? Silver pulled back today as well. Okay. Now, granted, I mean, it's 85, it's chopping, but this kind of volatility we're seeing in metals lately is ridiculous. I think we're starting to see a lot more of the younger leveraged investors really starting to go after gold and silver, and that's a scary proposition because if you pull back silver like we saw last week, if you pull back silver 35% in a matter of hours, it has major consequences for the rest of the market. This kind of thing is not good, but it is on a run right now, and I do hold silver. My holdings are gold, silver, copper, XRP, Canton Network, Chainlink, HBAR, and Ondo. That's what I invest in every single month. Well, twice a month, actually. That is the goal. 10% of my income for 10 years of my life, and I will be a millionaire and able to retire by the time I'm 50 years old. That is the goal. Discipline, delayed gratification. Old school way of thinking, most people don't get rich quick. Most people get wrecked quick, and that's just how it goes. Let's hop back. Let's see. So Bitcoin is getting destroyed right now. Now, news-wise, the entire crypto market is down today with the exception of CC, and Hyperliquid's getting a nice little pump thanks to its news today of right here. Let me get to it. Let me get to my bookmarks. Wrong thing. Bookmarks. Bookmarks, where are you? There you go. So Ripple and Hyperliquid, right? Hyperliquid meet Ripple Prime. We are now enabling institutions to access on-chain derivatives liquidity through Hyperliquid in a streamlined and secure way. That's big news for Hyperliquid. More customers, more payment activity. MetaMask has real-world assets available. You can now buy stocks and ETFs and those things in MetaMask via Ondo Finance. That was announced yesterday. Fireblocks now provides institutional custody for Canton Network. Fireblocks is also who provides institutional custody for Caleb and Brown. Chainlink, over 2.8 billion has been lost to cross-chain exploits. Exploits are a problem that is solved through sound architecture and rigorous security-first approach. Chainlink is getting interoperable with everybody. Chainlink works with Ondo. Chainlink works with Canton Network. You starting to notice a trend of what I've built here for myself. $280 million worth of diamonds are now tokenized on the XRP ledger thanks to the UAE. And the stock market took a dump today due to poor jobs data, and the tech stocks are getting destroyed right now. AMD got massively crushed. And of course, when tech stocks, right, when more risk rolls over, right? Risk rolls over. Risk rolls downhill, right? Kind of like crap rolls downhill, risk rolls downhill. Tech stocks bad, goodbye to crypto. And again, Bitcoin is pulling back. I think this is just an overall thing right now. I did see rumor that the government shutdown is now ended thanks to a signing by Trump. And if you missed the Ondo Summit yesterday, the big announcement was Ondo Global Markets files a registration statement with the SEC. Basically, I'll skip to the highlight here. Ondo is the only platform building the regulatory and product infrastructure to support all major models of securities tokenization in the United States, including direct ownership, beneficial ownership, and digitally native tokenized securities. Already the largest tokenized equities platform globally, Ondo Global Markets has surpassed 500 million in total value locked, enabling over 9 billion in cumulative trading volume, and reached tens of thousands of asset holders outside of the US. Need a drink real quick. Bear with me. That was the meat and potatoes. That was the big announcement from the Ondo Summit. They are going to be first. Let's hop back in the chat though. Should we buy more XRP or wait? Again, not financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to buy anything or do anything, but I will tell you what I am doing, and I am waiting for Bitcoin to get to 55K before I see what's what. I am, and it's burning a hole in my pocket. I swear to you, but I'm waiting. I'm being diligent. You can get caught unable to buy and your fortune is wasted. Just hodl when you're trying to buy and sell tops and bottoms. That is true. If you get caught trying to buy, you could be too late. It is a great time to buy. Prices are at 52-week lows by far on just about everything right now. It is a bloodbath in the crypto market. No buyers should be complaining. You got your wish, now buy. Exactly. And that's what I've been doing. I've been dollar cost averaging in. BTC will be over 600K in 2030. Watch. I mean, it's possible. I think Bitcoin could be over 1 million by 2030. I still believe that. When I was talking about where we are with crypto now versus where we are with crypto a year ago and the tailwinds and how everything is just at the back of crypto, you know, to me, it's a great time to buy. I mean, that's all I can say. Not financial advice. I am chomping at the bit to buy. I'm just waiting to see what Bitcoin is doing. That's just me. No one lost anything unless they sold. The fundamentals remain. Nothing changes about XRP. You're 100% right, Crypto Roger. Nothing has changed other than what's going on with the global economic pressure right now. I appreciate it. And again, if you guys are here, hit the like button, share it far and wide. Let's help grow this and get out the true non-hype content, non-fear mongering content to the masses so we can build a real community for the long view. Because over the next 5 to 10 years, there is no doubt in my mind that crypto is going up. There's going to be a handful of winners and there's going to be some losers. We try to do our research and position ourselves in the best possible spot moving forward to take advantage of it. That's my idea. That's my goal. Do you think there would be CC ETFs in the future? I mean, I think so. I think if it gets to, because it's institutional infrastructure, once it gets out on more exchanges, I just saw it went out on another exchange today. It went out on Bullish today. So as it gets out on more exchanges, especially, I mean, think about how fast it's ramped up to get to the top 15. Imagine if it goes live on like Coinbase and Robinhood, the amount of exposure it's going to get. So I think we're very, very, very early on CC. I mean, I'll do a video on CC talking about it going up 10 spots and it doesn't get any freaking views because no one cares, right? When we talk about XRP, and how big and that's talked about on YouTube, right? In the grand scheme of the population, right? Maybe 2% of people hold a little bit of XRP, maybe, and that's being generous, okay? I would say 95% of people have never even heard of XRP. Multiply that times 100, and that's what we're dealing with Canton Network, okay? No one has a clue, but that's just me, not financial advice. That's how a lot of people are with HBAR and Ondo. A lot of these smaller market cap, infrastructure plays that aren't Bitcoin and aren't in the headlines all the time. No one has a clue. If we position ourselves in the right spot with the infrastructure elements that are rolling out right now, I mean, it's an exciting time to be a holder, but that's just my opinion. That's not financial advice. Well, since it was a joke, then we won't get clarity at this term or next. Yeah, he was basically saying he wanted it by his birthday, April 3rd. Yeah, he made the joke about April 3rd. How much is XRP today? Well, it was $1.50 a second ago last we checked. Would you recommend Tangem or a hard wallet if we blackout? I mean, if there's a blackout, I would say a hard wallet or cold storage institutional custody. I personally have an air-gapped hard wallet from EliPal. Links in the description if you want it. I also have Tangem as well. They just sent me their new ring and card pack. It's supposed to be showing up today. They're one of my partners also. So I recommend both. But if I am doing, the cool thing about Tangem is its operability online. They're actually incorporating a DEX into it to where you can trade straight from your wallet. Now, for long-term storage, I like my air-gapped cold wallet. They both serve different purposes. Again, not all of your eggs should be in one basket, not financial advice. But that's just my opinion. If you're going to get a cold storage wallet, make sure you get it directly from the manufacturer, though. Don't get it from a third-party individual. That's how you get stuff that's already stored on it. If you're going to do a long-term cold storage, I suggest it's air-gapped. And then I like the Tangem wallet for the fact that so I had a stroke. I had multiple strokes a few years ago. I have short-term memory loss issues. So the fact that I can recover my seed phrase with two of my, right, because you get the 2 cards and the ring. So the fact that I can recover my seed phrase with 2 of the cards or with a card and a ring, or I could give If you have a spouse, you could give them one of the wallets to hold for you. It creates a level of redundancy so you don't get locked out of it. But that's just me. They all have different purposes. I also have a lot in cold storage institutional custody with Caleb and Brown. I use all the methods, to be honest with you. I just don't store it on an exchange for the most part. Corey Williams says, yes, cheap from yesterday. For sure it's cheap from yesterday. It's only getting cheaper, and we'll hop into another recap, guys. Keep the chat going. I appreciate all of you. A recap is coming, and we are going to hang out as long as you guys want to be here today. I see the Uphold sells Canton. My question is, why would I buy that if I already hold six-figure XRP? It's not a competitor to XRP. It's not. It does something completely different. It's a privacy layer. XRP is liquidity. Canton is privacy, right? That's how I look at it. So, and I believe there's already interoperability methods for Canton Network to get liquidity from the XRP ledger. Remember, BlackRock's involved in all of this too behind the scenes, not financial advice. But again, do your own research, invest in what you choose to invest in. But that's why I picked up Canton, because it's a different layer of infrastructure than XRP. It's the privacy layer that I'm betting on, basically. XRP is the liquidity layer that I'm betting on. Canton Network's the privacy layer. Ondo's the tokenization layer. Chainlink is your security, like your security layer, right? Your smart contracting and security layer. And then HBAR is also falls under tokenization. I am heavy into tokenization and utility. That's me. Right now, Bybit official exchange have a bug. It exchanges Bitcoin to Ethereum almost X10 rate, fully automatic posted video. Well, good for them. I don't mess with that kind of stuff. I'm too fearful of scams and things going wrong, but if someone's able to make a buttload of money on it, go for it. What did you miss? Don't worry, Shay. I will do a recap for everyone who came in late. Madness and the popular delusion of the crowds. Okay. Yeah. I mean, keep your wallets inside a couple Faraday bags. There you go. Tangem and a Faraday bag. There you go. On it. Everyone's on it, Janie Doe says. I'm waiting on Tangem to accept Canton. Yeah, there's only a couple niche hardware wallets for Canton. That's why I chose to keep mine in institutional custody, but that's just me. Everyone has their own way. And I'm not, I know you said you're waiting for Tangem to accept Canton. I hope, not financial advice. Everyone do their thing. I hope you're not waiting to buy it for that reason, because unfortunately, it's gone from 23 in market cap to 15 in market cap since the beginning of January. It's not waiting for us, unfortunately. That's why I just keep buying. That's the one I just keep buying. I'm not trying to time tops and bottoms on that. Again, not financial advice. Ashitiba is a unique plant origin out of Japan, forces by oh, that's okay. And I believe would benefit your health journey. Okay. All right, Crypto Roger. I'm keeping CC on Kraken. Okay, so you're keeping it custodial on Kraken. Okay, I was just curious. Let's hop into a recap for everyone who came in late here. Let me see how many people are in the stream right quick. Oh no, wrong button. Wrong button. Find the right button. There's the right button. 41 people. All right, let's keep it going. Keep a recap. Let me guys know in chat. Okay, I want to know, how low do you think Bitcoin's going to go? And I want to know, what's your goal for XRP, right? And I'm not talking about price or so. Just what is your goal? Why did you get into XRP? Why did you start your XRP journey? I know a lot of you are here because of XRP. So I want to know what got you guys into it. And I'll answer some more questions as soon as I get back from the recap here. But I want to hear, get the chat rolling. I want to hear. I want some more topics to discuss. All right. So for those of you coming in late, Bitcoin is now, well, silver's at $85, but let me get back to Bitcoin so we can talk about BTC. So BTC's back up to 73,000 now. It dropped as low as 72,000, setting a lower low from where it was over here at 72,896. So it did flip EMA 9 right now, but will it hold is the question. I believe it's just clearing out some of this RSI. I think Bitcoin's going to continue to fall. I think 55 is where it's going to go to, and I'm following up from there. 68 for sure. But I'm looking at 55K for Bitcoin before I get into anything else with any of my other cryptos, including XRP, which is one of my personal favorites, back up to 154 right now and got as low as $1.50 earlier today. If Bitcoin falls to 55K, I think XRP sees $1.20 to $1.25. That, for me, I'm going to come in hot and heavy with a purchase order at that level. But that's me, not financial advice. I also follow Ondo, Chainlink, HBAR. Chainlink's running back up again, and they're all having these sharp run-ups because Bitcoin's having a sharp run-up right now. So because we hold Chainlink, HBAR, Ondo, XRP, and they all follow Bitcoin. The only one I hold that doesn't seem to be following Bitcoin right now is Canton Network. It's been moving to the beat of its own drum up to rank 15. Got as high as 19 cents earlier, but that's what I hold. Again, I also hold gold, silver, copper. I am here for the long view. I don't know why that keeps popping up. Wrong screen. But I'm here for the long view. Now, as far as what's going on, just in, Ripple adds Hyperliquid to Prime brokerage platform. Ripple announced support for Hyperliquid, making its DeFi integration and expanding institutional access to more on-chain liquidity. This is bigger for Hyperliquid than it is for Ripple or XRP. I'm honestly thinking about picking up a little bit because of it. We were talking about, I already just covered that. MetaMask now offers real-world assets thanks to Ondo. Over 200 stocks, tokenized stocks now available on MetaMask. Fireblocks providing institutional custody for Canton. Fireblocks also the company that provides institutional custody for Caleb and Brown. Over 2.8 billion has been lost due to cross-chain exploits. Exploits are a problem that is solved through sound architecture and rigorous security first approach. Chainlink, number one in security right now. Again, my security layer profile. Let me slow down. Try to talk too fast. Let me get caught up here. So, bad jobs data came out. Tech stocks got wiped. AMD got smashed. Couple shining spots, but really risk is rolling over into Bitcoin. Remember, crap rolls downhill. Tech stock, gold sells off, silver sells off, tech stock sells off, Bitcoin sells off, altcoins sell off. Crap rolls downhill. It's just unfortunately how it works. But again, that's why we're here for the long view. This channel is about building out a plan process for the next 10 years, right? Next 5 to 10 years, not for the next 5 to 10 days or the next few weeks. Here for the long view. Let's get back in the chat, see what everyone has to say again. Recapping for people. 39 people in the stream. Appreciate you, Janie Doe, giving me the big thumbs up. Can you explain what air gap means? So air gapped means it has never been on the internet. Never once been on the internet. It's never been exposed to the internet, so there cannot be anything possibly sleeping on there in any way, shape, or form. And the only time it will ever connect to the internet is for your wallet purposes, right? That is what an air-gapped cold storage wallet is. The only connection it will ever have to the internet is when you connect it for your crypto, period. End of story. Bitcoin to zero. I was inspired. I believe God brought me to XRP. Okay. I don't know if Bitcoin will ever go to zero. I'm not necessarily a believer in Bitcoin going to zero just because of how much money is behind it. I mean, there is a ridiculous amount of money behind it that would cause a very, very, very big problem. Quilly said, I got into XRP because I got greedy. I want to be rich. I think most people here want to be rich, but unfortunately it's not going to happen in a year like Jake Claver said it was. This takes time. We have to build over time. The purpose and function of XRP is what made it an obvious buy for me. Always expected it to be used as scale. Would like to see that hurry up. Banks don't move fast, especially when something's trying to take money out of their pocket. If you guys watched the thing with Ondo Summit yesterday, one of the big takeaways was Swift was on there looking, the guy from Swift looking smug as hell. And his whole process, his whole thought process and argument to blockchain is what we have works. What we have works. Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That was kind of his mindset. He said, we're building a layer on top of what we have. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm like, oh my God, this clown, dude. Swift is horrible. I mean, honestly, I wanted to go buy $1,000 worth of XRP right then, just based on his reaction to what he thinks. Blockchain's going to leave these things in the dust eventually. I got into XRP and when I realized it was supported by 1,000 highly educated people around the world, that's when I went all in on the banker coin. There you go. Michael Hoffman, a guy told me about XRP when it was at a cent, said to load up and it exploded. I missed that, so now I'm dug in. Okay, so you missed it at a penny? Oh man, I wish I could find the computer I mined Bitcoin on. I haven't been able to find it. I mined Bitcoin back in 2011 and I still can't find it. I found the computer I had after that. I haven't been able to find the computer I had before that. I don't know how much I mined. I can't remember, but I do know I mined some Bitcoin at one point in my life. Could you imagine if I do find that computer? I'm going to be moving in 6 months. Could you imagine if I find that computer and it's got like 1,000 Bitcoin on it? Oh my God. I need to tear this house apart and see if I can find that damn thing. The part that I don't get about cold wallets is how to keep track of it for taxes when you transfer from exchange to Tangem. For example, you get no historical values on Tangem. Well, number one, you'll still have the amount that you purchased it for from the exchange. There will be a record of that. And until you sell it, it's not a taxable event. So until you move it back and sell it, you don't necessarily have to worry about it for taxes. The only time you have to worry about taxes is if you sell. And if you're expecting it to go to high prices, when you sell it, you'll be able to afford an accountant to help you with those tax problems. My opinion, not financial advice. But as long as you don't create a sale, then it's not a taxable item. Right now, Bybit official exchanger have bug exchange. Oh, someone keeps saying that. I think that might be a scam. Be careful with that. It's counterintuitive for a crypto person to invest in the banker's coin, but once you get bit by the XRP bug, it's hard to take some of the other cryptos seriously. Well, it's all about use case, right? And if we're wanting to bridge traditional finance, right? If we're wanting blockchain to bridge traditional finance wasn't going to give it up easily, right? They will literally roll tanks into the street. Brad said this. They will roll tanks into the street before they give up control of the economy, right? Before they give up control of financial policy. Like, they will roll tanks into the street before they give that up. So there's going to have to be some kind of bridge, which is why I got into XRP. That's how I look at it. The banks will win in the end. I just want to get my piece. Told myself when I turned 40, I would achieve financial freedom. I believe XRP over the long term with its utility will get me there and possibly sooner. 33 now. Good for you. I started completely uneducated in debt at age 35. I got to be debt free by the age of 37. Yeah, I got to be debt free by the age of 37 and started investing in crypto. And at one point had over $200,000 in my crypto portfolio before it crashed in 2021. And then I had strokes and divorces and got wiped out again and had to start all over. But I started building again in 2023 and I'm here for the long view. It's over the next 5 to 10 years. So welcome to the channel, good sir. Spectre KC. Are you from Kansas City? Spectre KC. Another KC person? Not defending Jake, but he said it will go to those high prices only if the domino theory happens. And again, I would love to be wrong. I've been the first person to say it. I would love to be wrong. I would love for Jake to be right and for me to be wrong, because that means I get to sit on my large stack of XRP on my private island eating my humble pie. But I try to look at it from a long view perspective over the next 10 years. And, on the off chance percent, something appreciates to ridiculous prices, that's a bonus for me. And then I get to retire even earlier, right? But you create a plan for the long view so you can stick to it. At least I do. That's my opinion on it. We've gone through the chat. Let me see how many people are in the stream here. 48 people in the stream. It's growing. If you guys are new to the stream, sign off in the chat. We're kind of turned into a hangout right now. I'll do a recap for everyone who's came in late. But we are growing the stream. This is about the long view. This is a community of people who are here to build out their portfolio over the next 5 to 10 years, right? I believe in infrastructure plays. I believe in XRP, Canton Network, Chainlink, HBAR, and Ondo, along with my real world infrastructure plays, copper, silver, gold, and real estate, okay? I invest 10% of my income every month for 10 years of my life. If we are able to do that and have that kind of discipline and that kind of dedication, you will be ahead of 99% of people. And my goodness, if I catch any young people in here, any 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, please, for the love of God, I wish I could grab my 18-year-old self and shake him. I would have been retired so early. I would be living on a beach somewhere by now if I did these things that I am trying to do now at the age of 40. Now, my goal is to be retired on a beach by age 50, right? My daughter's 13. She's going to be turning 18 soon, right? In about 5 years. So I've got 5 to 10 years of runway for me to get to where I want to be for the rest of my life. Now, I don't work a full-time job anymore. This is what I do for a living. Now, granted, YouTube doesn't make a ton of money. I literally just turned on monetization like 2 weeks ago. I'm not here for the money. I have other sources of income that I've built out over time because it's not just about crypto. It's about creating real world things and real world cash flow, right? Because our dollar has been debased at length, and they talked about that a lot at the Ondo Summit as well. But our dollar has been debased at length, so cash flow is key. And by creating those cash flow options, I can afford not to go to work for a corporation because if any of you know, a lot of you know, if you work for a corporation for 10 years and make them millions and millions of dollars, this is what they give you as a thank you. This is what you get. And they say goodbye, thank you for your service, have a nice life. They don't care about us. It can go away like that. And that is a very, very, very stressful way to live your life when you are dependent on one source of income and you're dependent on a job, someone who could fire you and it could make everything go away. The house, the cars, right? Everything. You could be homeless if you lose that job and you have all that debt because people get trapped into debt-based slavery. It's awful, man. So I'm trying to show people a different way beyond debt-based slavery, beyond pump and dump hype schemes, beyond clickbait titles and clickbait narratives, right? Yeah, it's not sexy. But you know what else wasn't sexy about 6 months ago? Silver. You know what else wasn't sexy 6 months ago? Canton coin. These are the things we build out for the future, and we do the research. Again, not financial advice, but my goal is to create a place where people can come to and get some support in a different narrative for a change than all this crap that's floating around out there. Let me get back to the chat here. I went on my little soapbox. Is FXRP flare wrapped XRP that can be lend, borrowed, or staked? Yes, it is. You can wrap your XRP on Flare into FXRP and use that to deploy out in DeFi. I've messed around with it a little bit. I deployed like 83 FXRP out there and I was getting like a 6.1% yield or something like that on it. I was just messing with it to test it. I'm really waiting for one-click DeFi when we can actually, stake our XRP with one click and start earning yield on it. I would like to see that native on the XRPL, which we know it's being broken down to. But yeah. So portfolio breakdown for me. Well, I just went over it, but I hold real estate, copper, silver, and gold. That's 50% of my portfolio. The other 50% of my portfolio is crypto. And that's split up between my main two. My main two are XRP and Canton Network. And then my other three infrastructure pillars are Ondo, Chainlink, and HBAR. Again, it's about laying the infrastructure for the problems that need to be solved over the next 10 years. And I also do hold a little bit of alternative energy as well. The Claver Kool-Aid gave a bunch of people cavities. Scott said once that Claver is a salesman, and I thought that was the best way to describe him. Well, truthfully, anyone on YouTube is a salesperson. Technically, I'm a salesperson. I'm trying to sell you why my view is worth watching, right? This is a reward cycle. You as the viewer are rewarded with dopamine, right? When they tell you nice things that you want to hear, or they set up these domino theories to where when a domino falls, you get a little bit of a dopamine hit. It's called addictive storytelling. It's really human psychology based. These are things I actually had to learn about when I started YouTube to get better at videos and to get better at streaming and being able to talk to people. And it's also a part of public speaking, which I aced in college, by the way. It's always been really easy for me to talk to people. I always thought about doing radio or something like that because I could sit here in front of a mic and just talk as long as I got a topic, especially if you give me people to talk to with questions. Whoo, boy, I could go for hours, as you guys know. But yes, every person on YouTube is technically a salesman because so when you're looking at what they're selling, try to think of what the benefit is for them and what the benefit and risk is for you. And that's why I suggest no matter who you're watching, including me, do your own research. Know what you hold. You shouldn't invest in anything. I mean, would you give someone $1,000 because they told you they're going to turn around and give you 10,000 later? It's the definition of a pyramid scheme, and that's why crypto has such a bad rap for scams and scammers. Not to mention the whole FTX debacle all them years ago. But let's create a different way. That's what the long view is about. It's about a different way. So if I wrap my XRP in Flare, I could lend myself the money for the mortgage, right? I'm not sure about that. Like, I haven't messed into it. I honestly just clicked what the DeFi lending options were there. I don't now. A lot of banks are starting to be able to take like crypto as a collateral for a mortgage. So like if you have a bunch of money in crypto, you can use that as collateral to help underwrite a mortgage loan with a regular bank. I know that exists now. Something to look into. You might want to look in to see what banks are offering to do collateralized loans with crypto right now. Something to Google and look into because that does exist. And I know you're looking at getting that big ranch in the future, my friend, but collateralized loans are a thing for crypto now. Something to think about. Let's see, Changely, by the time Clarity Act passes, it'll be another year or so before institutions start adopting. I don't think we'll see a big price change for at least 2 years. What do you think? Well, I mean, it's going to take time for the adoption to roll out, but we have heard from the SEC about the innovation exemption supposed to be coming out soon. Hopefully this month. They said end of January. That didn't happen. But hopefully this month. As well as we saw that the SEC and the CFTC announced during their fireside chat with Eleanor that they're already working on all the policies behind the scenes. They're not waiting for the Clarity Act to go through. They're working on it now, and they're starting to put this stuff into place now. And then when the Clarity Act goes through, they'll adjust. So it could ramp up pretty fast. Now, as far as institutions coming in and coming on board, that could take some time. Absolutely. Think about it, though. Think about how fast stablecoin stuff has ramped up since the Genius Act only 7 months ago. I think we're going to see something similar with regular cryptocurrencies once the structure bill goes through, right? Then the banks and everyone will start really leaning in on regular crypto, not just stablecoins. My opinion, not financial advice. So it could be a year. As little as a year, it could be 2 years. I think Clarity Act gets done before midterms. I do think they're going to push it across. I hope, fingers crossed. From there, I think we see like a year or two. But again, we don't know what, I mean, so much news could come out and something could come out, 3 months from now and turn all of this on its head as well. That's why we follow the news and the infrastructure and the price every single day. It's for the long view. So we have to know where we are so we know where we're going. And you're asking on XRP. I still think we could see a $25 XRP this year. Because, and I say that for one reason and one reason only, for utility. I know that's a bold claim. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it's possible. And the reason I'm saying it's possible is because of this. Something I follow all the time. I don't see anyone else following it for some silly reason. But let me pull this over here. Account set activity over the last 3 months on the XRP ledger has spiked more than the entire history of the entire XRP ledger, right? Since 2014 and beyond. There's been more account set activity in these last 3 months than ever. Now, that being said, what is account set activity? Well, account set activity is accounts getting turned on, essentially. Permissions, on and off ramps, capabilities, all their procedures, identifiers, that kind of stuff, right? That should translate to payments activity. I've been watching and waiting to start seeing an increase in payments activity because this account set activity turned on with ETFs. It turned on with the MAS announcement. It turned on with the UK and EU announcements of their licensing, right? All of this licensing, onboarding, partnerships started getting announced right when this started happening. And now we're starting to see payments activity increase since Christmas, essentially. It's increased up to nearly 1.5 million, or nearly 2 million. This is over 1.5 million. I want to see this get over 2 million and maintain that and continue growing. So because of that, and because of the tailwinds that we have with regulation and adoption right now in the United States, I do still think that a $25 XRP is possible this year due to utility. And I've always said, any of my people here in the stream will tell you too, that I've always thought that XRP's price appreciation will come from utility. Currently, Bitcoin pulling back down to EMA 9 and then pump back up. Will it fall below EMA 9? I think it will. But again, we are watching to see, because I do think it's going to go, I for sure think Bitcoin's going to 68K. I think it's going to 55. XRP is following Bitcoin. The only one I hold right now that doesn't follow Bitcoin is Canton Network. Canton Network's now up 4% today, and for the month, it is up 14% for the month of February. Got as high as 19 cents, 19.3 cents recently. So again, you can buy that at any of these locations. Kraken, I know Uphold has it as well. Bitmart, Gate, KuCoin, Bybit, Week, MEXC, and if you want an institutional custody option for Caleb and Brown, or for Canton Coin, you can get it on Caleb and Brown. But that's why I believe, in regards to the XRP, what I think it can get to this year is because of its utility play. Period. End of story. It really just comes down to utility for me. Really, with all of these tokens. I'm staking for my son and telling him about what I have so he understands. 20 years from now, my son will say, my mother did this. That is the ultimate long view. And really, the big problem, and the reason so many people have come in and bought at the top, is because they don't have an education on finance and an education on wealth at a young age. We're not taught these things in high school. The only way we're taught these things is if we have somebody, a parent, a relative, friend, somebody, teach us about the importance of investing, the importance of not getting in debt, right? The importance of not using credit cards, not having $800-900 car payments, right? So it astounds me. One of my kids' friends, I was talking to them the other day. One of my kids' friends, their parents, they asked me for help with something with their finances, trying to get a budget under control, because they know I don't work and I'm here. So they asked me for help with their budget. And I said, okay, and I had them pull up their expenses. These people paid more for their 2 cars than they did for their mortgage. And I was like, holy crap. Their mortgage and their insurance and all that stuff was like $2,000, and they were paying $2,200 for 2 cars. And I'm like, well, here's your problem, folks. This is really simple. And they had credit card debt. I'm like, you need to sell these ASAP and get yourself a couple beaters while you save up and pay off these credit cards. I mean, it's really that simple. But people don't want to hear that. They want it now. They want the nice thing right now. And that's, it kills you in the long run. Right now, Bybit official exchanger they keep doing that one. Let me do this. Can I fix this? Where is it? Yeah, this guy. There we go. Now we don't have to see that. All right. I'm already investing for my kids too, but I do want them to struggle anyway. Something to learn the value of money. XRP make me a millionaire. I'm not telling them. Well, again, too, if XRP makes me a millionaire, I'm not living like a millionaire. I'm going to have myself my own little piece of land in a nice quiet place where I can enjoy my peace in life. Okay? It's not about buying a bunch of things for me. It's about time. Time is the most valuable asset you will ever have in your life. You're not going to get any more time in this life. And when we're young, we trade our time for money. And then when we're old, we trade our money for more time. So really, if you sacrifice when you're young, the more you sacrifice when you're young, the less you have to sacrifice when you're old. Really, that's just how it goes. How do you see Ondo's price going? I think, and again, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. We are here for the long view, okay? Investments come with the risk of loss. Do your own research. I'll be the first person to tell you that. But as far as Ondo, I think $3 by 2030 is realistic. And if it gets there, I'm happy with it. If it gets to $3, I'm happy with it by 2030. And I do think that's a realistic possibility with how fast tokenization's going. We're only at the beginning of tokenization right now, and they are literally tokenizing everything. BlackRock, Larry Fink said it himself. JP Morgan's involved. I mean, money is showing their hand on where they want to go. Tokenization ain't going nowhere anytime fast. You just explained why they use clickbait and pump fake prices, because that's what people want to hear. They do. And my goal, Corey, my goal is to catch those people, is to catch them in that chaos and show them the clarity. That is the goal of this channel, is to catch those people and try to show them some stability in a different way. Really, truthfully. And hopefully you guys appreciate that and spread the word to more non-hype people. That's why I say hit the like button, share it far and wide. And the more you engage in the chat, the more you hit the like button, the more you engage in the reactions, the more members this channel has, the more subscribers it has, the more super chats it has, like the more engagement that is here, the more it tells people we should watch this. So that's why I'm so amped up. And honestly, I like talking to you guys. I like talking to the community. I'm just another person on the internet. Now, granted, yes, I am studying to become a financial advisor. I am working on my Series 65, and I've been involved in this space for 7, 8, 9 years, but there's a lot of you who have done that too. I'm not trying to pretend that I'm smarter than anyone, but sometimes you just need another person. Am I crying, bro? No, I ain't crying. Sometimes you just need another person to help you out or to give you a little bit of nice wording, you know? Sometimes you need that community, and that's what this is about. I'm afraid of stablecoins because I think if the dollar collapses down, doesn't the coin drop in value too? Well, I mean, it's the purchasing power. So the coin's value is not going to go cheaper than a dollar, but its purchasing power will go lower, right? So when we say that the US dollar has depreciated, it's not that a dollar is less than a dollar. It's just that what a dollar buys is less. And the whole concept of the debasement trade is that as they deflate the dollar, it's not that stocks are going up. It's not that gold is going up. It's not that silver is going up or any of the assets are going up. But as they deflate the dollar, it makes everything look like it's going up because the dollar is worth less. It's worthless. It's a note. It is debt printed on paper saying that someone says it has value. Value is strictly determined by what someone decides they're willing to pay for something, period. ZBCN will make a lot of people a lot of money this year. A lot of people have been asking me about Zebek. I'm not holding any of it. I have seen it pumping recently, but again, it's just not something I've invested in right now. I don't even have it as a dart throw. I've seen it floating around out there. I've been really, really focusing on Canton Network and XRP and Ondo and Chainlink. I can't keep track of everything, man. But ZBC, I have heard a lot about it. I'm going to look into it. Well, I haven't heard a lot. I've heard it a lot. I've heard the name thrown out there a lot. And I've heard of people mentioning it in here as well. Sorry, Catbutt. Police XRP. How are we policing XRP? Time is time is the number one valuable commodity you'll ever have. There will never be more time. You only get one life, you only get one body. Your health is important too. Speaking personally from someone who almost died a few years ago because they were eating a whole bunch of crap and not taking care of themselves. I almost had a stroke, or not almost. I did have strokes in my sleep and about died from it. Everyone wants to live like the Joneses. Ain't that the truth? That's a great movie too. If any of you have time, there's a movie called The Joneses. It's got the guy from Californication. I can't remember his name. David something. But it's got the guy from Californication. It's a great movie. It's got Demi Moore and the guy from Californication in it. But that's a great movie. It's called The Joneses. XRP to 100? I think it could get to 100 by 2030 possibly. Again, nothing's financial advice. I'm not here to make price predictions, but I believe in XRP because of its utility, right? Because of what's actually happening on Ledger recently. When we're talking about the account set activity and the payments activity, again, the account set in the last 3 months has spiked more than it has in the entire history of the ledger. This only can mean one thing, is institutional onboarding. So what are they onboarding? Well, this lines up with their licensing announcements with the MAS, with the UK, with the EU, right? Japan's tokenizing everything on the XRP ledger. They're building out in Japan massively. So now payments activity has gone up all the way up to almost 2 million. It's maintaining and climbing. Will it continue to climb? It needs utility, right? It needs things on ledger. It needs utility so it can bridge things, right? It needs to offer liquidity for something. It needs to be switching things out, right? There has to be a reason for it to provide liquidity. If everything's just moving around in US dollars, it doesn't do anything for the ledger. My opinion, not financial advice. Let's see. Do you think the price of CC is sky's the limit, says Stephen Haynes. Its market cap is 37.7 billion. Man, it's 37.7 billion already. When I first bought CC, its market cap was 5 billion. If that, I should have talked about it sooner. I'm sorry, guys. I should have talked about it sooner. When I first bought CC, its market cap was 5 billion. But yes, I do believe the sky's the limit. I feel firmly confident it's going to be in the top 10 this year, if not the top 5, by the end of 2026. That's a 10x. If it makes it up to the top 5, that's a 10x. I do think that's possible this year with CC. I first started buying it. I just looked. I first started picking it up. I want to say it was around 9 cents. My average buy on it's at 14 cents because I've been going in a lot heavier into it lately. Again, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You need to do your own research. My pillars are XRP, Canton Network, Chainlink, HBAR, and Ondo. It's about the infrastructure, right? What's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years. Not necessarily what's happening with the price today, tomorrow, or even a week or a year from now. But we follow the news every single day so we stay informed and we know what we need to look out for over the next 10 years. We saw that announcement with Ripple and Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid might be an interesting play. It's something I'm looking forward to looking into anyway. We see people talking about ZBEC, right? That's another possible option in the future. Okay. So I will be back at noon tomorrow. Normal streaming time. I stream every single day, Monday through Saturday at noon. What's up with the diamond deal you've been hearing about? Well, I did announce that tokenized diamonds are coming to the XRP ledger. $280 million worth of tokenized diamonds are now going to be available on XRP ledger. Again, diamonds, gold, silver have all been rumored coming to the XRP ledger. We already have some gold and diamonds. Will silver make it there next? That is the question. So I'll see you guys at noon tomorrow. I stream every single day. Monday through Saturday at noon. We cover the news, we cover crypto, and we cover the long view. I'll see you guys then. Later.